So welcome to another video. This is Ed and Dave's Kayaking Adventures. It's Boxing Day 2020. It's pretty cold, about 7 degrees at the moment, so Ed's decided to stay at home tucked up in his bed, probably a wise decision. But I'm going to have a go at paddling, and you can see behind me we're actually on the floodwaters. So this is about 250 metres from our house, so I've just walked down and we're going to have a little paddle, so we'll see where we end up. As you can see, there's lots of trees, so it is in pretty major flood. This is not even the river either. Behind me, that's usually a tiny little stream, but it's broken its banks and it's completely flooded. So yeah, we'll have a bit of an adventure, and we'll see you in a bit. So we're well and truly in the golf course now. You can see one of the bunkers behind me. So this is actually a little stream, usually, that runs through the middle of the golf course, nice and quaint and not very deep. You can normally walk in it in your wellies, so it's probably 4 or 5 inches deep. As you can see now, it's probably getting close to 8 to 10 feet deep, and yeah, it's interesting to be able to paddle up here. You can see there's a couple of bridges that we've come under just behind me there, so we'll go back that way. So I've just had a look on the little OS map on my phone. I've actually come too far up. It's very difficult to work out where I am because of the flood water, so there's no obvious channel, so I've actually missed the channel to go up to the team. So I'm going to paddle back down, and we're looking for sort of a right hand, well, it's not really going to be a turn, but a right hand bit of water that we can then follow and hopefully get back up onto the team. So we'll have another go. I'm now on the edge of what they call the Powick Hams, and you can see it's pretty flooded behind me. And then if we go over here, you can see it's really flooded, but I have managed to get my bearings now. So the bridge that's in the distance over there is actually the bridge we need to be paddling under. So I'm thinking we've got to go somewhere over there to actually get onto that bit of the stream. So as I said, it's a little bit disorientating being in the flood because you can't see the channels, it's absolutely over the top. So yeah, we'll have another bash. So we're back on track now. I found the channel. It was slightly further down the river rather than, or further down the stream rather than further up. So we can now follow that, which is that way, and we can follow that up to the River Teme, and we'll see how we get on. So this is the bridge we should be going under usually, but as you can see it's completely flooded, so we're not going to be doing that. So I'm just going to get out and just walk around the bridge, and then we're not that far from the river actually. From the River Teme is over, if you can see the cars going over the bridge there in the distance, that's where we're going to. So it's not too far away, but it's hard work. As you can see, there are a lot of trees in here, makes paddling quite difficult, and you've obviously got to keep yourself protected, make sure nothing hits you in the face or in the eyes. So Okay, we'll get out, walk around, and we'll be back in a minute. Well, here we are, we made it. So you can see the main River Teme behind me, and this little stream that I've just paddled up, very overgrown and flooded, joins onto the Teme. Well, the Teme actually joins onto the stream and feeds the stream. So usually the stream I'm actually resting in now is probably welly boot deep. In fact, sometimes it's completely dry in places, but obviously in the flood it's completely flooded over the banks and everywhere. So we're going to join the main river here, and then we'll paddle down to Powick Mill, and we'll see how we get on. So just to bring you up to date, I've literally just paddled fairly quickly down the river because there's quite a flow on it, and just jumped out to have a quick sandwich and Kit Kat, give me a bit of energy to keep me going. It is fairly cold, it's probably about 7 degrees I would guess, but there's a bit of a wind coming off the Hams, which is to my left over there. In fact, if I spin round, you'll see right in the distance is the bit of the stream that I paddled up to get on the river, which is now to my right. So if I just move back a little bit, you can also see the new Powick footbridge there. That's been built and opened, and I've seen people walking across it today, so it gives a little bit of access from Powick Mill and the top of Lower Wick through to Powick. It's quite a nice walk, and you don't have to go over the main road because now you can use the bridge, so that's very useful. So I'm going to paddle down a little bit more, not very far. I can actually see just over there by those logs, so that's roughly where I'm going to, you can see the chimney of Powick Mill, so I'm going to get out there, but I know that the water is to the top of the bridge, so I can't actually go under the bridge, so I'm going to have to probably get out this side of the bridge and then just walk around. So we'll have a look when we get there. It should take a couple of minutes to get there. So here we are at the end of the trip. I've made it down to Powick Bridge, and you can clearly see I'm not going to be paddling under it. Even with my super slim physique, I don't think I will fit under that arch there. In fact, somewhere there is a swan trying to make their way under. Just there, look, and even they can't get under. So yeah, a challenging trip today. One, because of the temperature. It's, as I say, about 7 degrees, and the other is the flood. It's been quite difficult to orientate and work out where the streams are and where the bit to connect to the River Teme. So this is the River Teme behind me. You can see there's quite a flow on it. Quite a difference to how it was in the floods. It's completely flat and still, no flow at all in there because of the wide area that it's covering. But obviously this is the narrow bit of the river here, and right behind me, I would say that's between 20 and 25 feet deep. And the bit that I'm actually standing on, this bank, would usually be that sort of off the water level. So that's a serious volume of water that's coming down, mainly fed from mountains and rainfall further up, perhaps even into Wales. So there's a lot of water coming down, and you can see it brings debris as well, which is accumulating against the bridge. So good trip. Happy to do that on Boxing Day. So this is the Ed and Dave kayaking channel saying goodbye for now, and we shall keep in touch. So if you want to subscribe, please do so below. Helps us to know to bring content to you. What kind of content? If you want to provide any comments, that's brilliant too. That gives us a bit of an insight into the types of things you're looking for, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.